What they don't tell you about when you start decentering men in your life is that you'll stop being able to relate to so many people and so many different types of conversation. When I was constantly dating and constantly having crushes, I was able to relate to so many of my friends. I was able to relate to this larger cultural zeitgeist of like single woman culture. Now that I've stopped dating and I've stopped centering men in my life, I really have very, very few, almost no people to relate to, because people aren't posting about decentering men as much as they are about being single and wanting to date. So it makes the process of decentering men and decentering pursuing dating a little bit more lonely and isolated. And it's just interesting.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. In this video, we're going to be discussing decentering men. As usual, I'm going to leave my commentary for the end of the video, so stay tuned for that. And let's just get into it.
Everyone talks about decenter men from your life, decenter men from your life. Okay. How do we actually do it? So I'm going to break it down for you as a girl who has been there, done that. I used to crave male validation. I was a serial dater. I was in back-to-back relationships. I probably had like 3 breakups a year on average. If there's anyone that's going to teach you how to practically put in the actions to get over that shit and create a better life for yourself, it's a girl that was in the trenches. First of all, you need to understand that decentering men is a daily choice you make. There is no off switch in your brain where you can just be a totally different person and get rid of this mindset. Reframe your perspective on what singlehood actually means. Once I started looking at singlehood as this fleeting moment that's actually a gift in my life, because the second that you find your person, you find your person. And then there's no going back after that. You're gonna live with them. You're gonna have to build a life with them. You're gonna have to start setting goals together. You could literally meet your soulmate tomorrow. Next step to decentering men is you need to have a mission in life, because it is very easy for the ego and the mind to go back to chasing men when it has nothing else distracting it or fulfilling. Making up all of these fantasies about when you're gonna meet your soulmate or if you could meet your husband tomorrow is fun. So we need to create something that's even funner than that. Learn a hobby, learn a language, go traveling. Set yourself a bet. See what you can achieve within the next 6 months. And lastly, live it every single day. Buy yourself flowers, spend Valentine's Day alone, take yourself on date. I have so many vlogs on my YouTube channel where I'm going on solo dates. And I also wrote a complete guide to self-love, decentering men, and solo dating. It's called Buy Yourself the Damn Flowers, and it's available on Amazon.
Something that the girls are gonna hate to hear, but decentering men is significantly easier when you are living a life that they could potentially ruin, aka a life that you love, a life that you are fighting for, and a life that you are trying to grow and make better. Once you have that, it's going to be so obvious who is not adding to it, who is detracting from it, and who is making it worse. And when you see that so much of that is driven by people who are inconsistent, people who half love you, and people who don't have your best interests in mind, it's not even gonna be a question of where your time is better spent and what's best for you. It's either a fuck yes or a fuck no. That fuck no becomes so obvious. And while you may feel bad because you were put in a situation to cut somebody off, in your heart, you're gonna know you did the right thing. And while you are decentering men in this way, you're also not aggressively angry about the fact that so many of them suck. That officially becomes a them issue. When you look at their life and say, do I wanna live like them? And the answer is no, but they look at your life and wanna live like you already know who's gonna be bringing who to whose level. And the fact that he's not gonna be somebody who can do that for you is gonna make you feel like he's a little dog up for adoption, not in the cute way.
Y'all are too sensitive, and so many people were asking me how to decenter men. Y'all care too much about them, and you care more about them than they care about you. This is why you're always being heartbroken. This is why you're always upset. This is why you're always in a therapist's office. This is why you're always taking medication for anxiety. This is why you're always worried about this, because you have not decentered men. You don't know the man's purpose in your life. That's what it is. And y'all are too sensitive. When people tell you the truth, y'all want to make excuses for it. Okay? A man is a provider. If he can't provide, he don't need to be there. Period. You doing charity work if he in your life and he is not providing. You are literally doing charity work. I said it. So some of y'all are too sensitive and y'all don't understand it. If you living with a grown able-bodied man and paying 50-50 and doing this, you literally giving back to charity. Because a man, only one job is providing, protecting and providing. In this day and age, providing is protecting. If he's not benefiting you at all, something wrong with you. You desperate, You want approval. You seek validation from a man that don't even probably like you because he's not providing. Okay.
Hey, so how are you? What's new? Not too much, just been really busy. Yeah, are you dating anyone new? No, actually I'm not. Not dating anyone right now? No, not really. You're not even talking to anyone? What about your ex? Have you heard from him at all? No, actually I blocked him. Wow. Yeah, it's actually been really nice. I feel like my life is so peaceful. That's cool. That's good. It's been really nice. What about you? What's new with you? What have you been working on? What's going on in your life? Not too much, really. What about you? What's new with you? Well, I've been working on launching this new online store, so I'm really excited about that. I started an online book club. I'm coming up with a workout plan. Like, I did this workout plan for myself, and I'm really excited because I feel like if it's effective, I'm gonna like share it online with everyone so everyone can kind of like use it. I also spent the other day, like the entire day, like a full 8-hour workday, completely mapping out my life plan for the entire year, and it's got me really excited. That's really cool. I love that. Yeah, so are you dating anyone right now? Oh my God. Okay, so I'm talking to these like 5 guys, and 4 of them are really stressing me out. And I was just like, and then my ex is coming back, and I'm just like, oh my God. And then there's this one guy that lives in another state that, I don't know, he's like really rude to me, but I don't know why I keep talking to him for some reason.
Decentering men is not about not interacting with men. It's more about managing your expectations with men. It's about realizing that most of the men you interact with are not going to be that guy. And if he's giving unserious energy, just simply match the energy and get what you can get out of the situation and enjoy yourself. Separate yourself from the outcome of this man, because the outcome for you is irrelevant. The only way the outcome becomes relevant is if he makes it relevant. I'm going to give you an example. You can have consensual, safe relations with men and take them unseriously because that's how he's acting. But if this man behaves differently, then you can move him out of that unserious category and into a considerate category. That's what it means. Just manage your expectations around these men.
My entire childhood, my mother, from personal experience, would constantly tell me, don't ever, ever, ever put your life on pause for a man. Like, don't move anywhere for him. Don't stay somewhere for him. Always put yourself first, right? Guess what I did? The opposite, of course. Whoever listens to their mother. I dated my ex-boyfriend throughout grad school. It was a long distance relationship. He was in the States. I was in Italy. And then when I was in grad school, he promised me that he wanted to marry me. Like, that was his thing. He brought it up. I didn't say anything about it. I was good just like going with the vibes. And all of a sudden he's like, marriage. And I was like, wait, what is going on? Oh, marriage. Okay, cool. So the plan was I would go down to Florida after I graduated. We would try it out for 6 months, then get married. And then a few months in, he was like, oh, no, I can't, we can't get married. Anyway, because of that specific decision, I put on pause a bunch of opportunities I possibly could have had straight out of school, and I ended up derailing my life for like 3 years. But ultimately, the lesson that I should have already learned just by listening to my mother was don't center men. Luckily, I don't have regrets, but I can't say it wasn't a difficult lesson.
I say this with full love for men, but the reality is that men are draining by default. That the default assumption that you need to make for a man in your life is that he is not the source. In fact, he is draining. He is draining by default. He is going to drain your time, your energy, your compassion, and your love. He is going to drain your beauty and your youth and all the resources that you have. Men are draining by default. Even the best men I know are tremendous amounts of labor and tremendous amounts of risk. That just having a man in your life is going to bring you more labor. It's going to be your domestic labor, your emotional labor, your spiritual labor, because as women, we are the source, which means that we are giving by default. Women bring value to men by default, by all that we pour into them naturally, that we give to their well-being, to the beauty, to the joy, to their every single aspect of their experience in life. A woman by default, just your average run-of-the-mill woman, not even trying that hard, maybe not even that invested. By default, the default setting of woman is to bring value. Just you hugging a man, just you paying attention and listening to a man, just you caring for a man, let alone all the things that I'm sure you probably are so thoughtful and so considerate and so generous and so giving and spend so much time coaching him and counseling him and loving him and lifting him up. All these things by default without even trying, we do. Not to mention, you're going to be making his health better, his house better. You're going to be introducing him to your friends. You're going to be giving him fun, amazing things to be doing on the holidays. You might be giving him children so he's not alone in his old age. You're going to be amplifying his status in the eyes of his coworkers, his colleagues, other women. He is touch-starved. He is lonely. No one is paying attention to him except you. Because you are doing these things, he has that in his life, and that is so valuable, and men are draining by default. They are going to take your time, your energy, your love. And the way that they counterbalance this is if a man starts pouring back into you by appreciating you as the source. That is how this is balanced, is a man who recognizes that you are the source and pours into you, sees you, loves you, uplifts you, appreciates you. And that is the only way that this value exchange is made right and true and honest, is by him recognizing you as the source, appreciating you for everything that you're doing, and honoring that sacred exchange. And when you are assessing a man in your life, do not close your eyes to this value exchange and really assess reality.
In a perfect world, we decenter men. I agree. That is the best case scenario. That's the best outcome. But I don't think it's realistic to expect everyone to do that. I don't think it's realistic to expect everyone to stop dating men, to stop having relationships with men, to stop having intimate relationships with men. So the reason why I continue to make the kind of content that I make, where I talk about dating, I talk about the nature of men, I talk about, having higher standards for yourself. It's like SMEC's education. Ideally, you practice abstinence. You abstain entirely, because when you abstain entirely, there's no risk. But not everyone is going to do that. So what do we also teach alongside abstinence? We teach how to have intimate relations safely. So when I get on here and I make content and I'm telling you guys about the nature of men, that's what I'm doing. This isn't me centering men in my life, because men aren't centered in my life. It's me telling you how to date men, get the most out of it, and protect yourself while doing it. Especially protect yourself mentally and protect yourself emotionally. I'm trying to make sure that you don't get the wool pulled over your eyes. And there's no one better qualified to talk about it, in my opinion, than me. I got a pretty good track record. So yes, decenter men, do not make them the sun that you orbit around. But if you are going to date men, listen to the advice of other women that you trust.
The interesting thing about knowing from a young age that you don't want marriage or children is that it automatically decenters men from your life. The three things that men have historically had to offer women, money, marriage, children, are things that I don't want or need. I have my own money, I have my own job, I have my own house, I have my own car, I have my own friends, I have my own hobbies. I filled my life with beautiful things that bring me joy and happiness and contentment. I also don't have a giant imaginary biological clock counting down the seconds to my impending infertility, so I don't have to settle down, with the operative word being settle. You'd think that men would be happy with this, that I don't want or need anything from them, I just like them for them. But what I'm effectively doing is taking away their control over my ability to leave. money, marriage, children. Some men just don't like that at all. Don't get me wrong, I've had some beautiful relationships with men where the thing that tied us together was the fact that we loved and liked each other. But some men really don't like knowing that you would be absolutely fine without them. And I am. I'm not just surviving without a man, I'm thriving without a man. I don't need a man to provide my happily ever after. I provide it for myself every single day.
I always see people come on the internet talking about some decenter men. Baby, there are a lot of things you need to decenter, but men is not one of them. Let me talk you through what you need to start decentering. The first thing you need to decenter is desperation. Please. Stop letting these men treat you like a kangaroo's ass crack and then still be running up after him. Learn to see and identify and react to red flags. I love you guys, but I can't keep hearing, oh, I met this guy, I slept with him, then he ghosted me, and then he came back 3 months later. What shall I do? What do you mean, what should you do? What else can you do but have shame and move on with your life? Please. Please decenter desperation, because that is what it's giving. And I love you guys deep, but please let's stop letting these men drag us like a mop. Decenter desperation. The second thing you need to decenter is sex on the first night. Stop sleeping with these men on the first night and wondering why you can't get a situation. And I don't want to hear about your best friend Sally June who met her man on the first night and now they're married for 5 years. There's always an exception to the rule. For best results, assume it's not you. So if we assume that we are not the exception and understand that most men are led by their desire for sex, the common sense thing to do when we are meeting men is to not give it to them early. And I beg of you, nobody come in my comments and talk about, oh, those are boys. Oh, no, I'm looking for good men. No, it's all men. It's all men. The reality is you can meet the best guy. If he's a good guy and he's got brains and smarts in his head, he is not going to respect you for sleeping with him on the first night because he knows you do not need to do that. He knows that you know that in society it's seen as hoish to sleep with a man on the first night and you've done it anyway. He's going to judge you. He can be the greatest guy on earth. It's 2 + 2 = 4. Decenter sleeping with men on the first night, because what's the difference between sleeping with them on the first night and week 3 apart from a complete lack of self-control? Have some self-control, ladies. The sex ain't gonna be that good anyway. Damn. The third thing we need to decenter, ladies, is dating apps. Please decenter dating apps. Dating apps are a man's playground. Because first of all, the reality is no valuable man, no sensible man, let me not say no. Most valuable and sensible men are not going on dating apps to find women because they don't need to. The easiest thing for a valuable man to find is women. Because first of all, there's about 12 men that are type anyway, tall, good looking, got money. They have, if you like him, 300 other girls like him in your city alone. Like, men who are valuable have women throwing themselves at them. They don't need to go and join a dating app. Let me tell you who joins dating apps. The middling guys that nobody really wants that much and they have to kind of work hard to get girls. But guess what? Guess where there's girls? And there's girls that are eager to meet men and eager to want to find their husband and willing to bring their standards down because they've been trying for so long and they can't find anything out there. Where? Dating apps. Because the truth is, nobody wakes up and joins a dating app as a woman. You try and date first, and then when you realize it's tough out here, you go onto the dating apps. No hate, no shade, but everyone on dating apps has struggled in the real world dating, and their dating apps is their last chance. That's already a bad mentality to start dating with as a woman. But once a man knows that, men are predators. They take advantage of things. Why would a man not join somewhere where he knows the women are basically, in his mind, desperate? it's 2 plus 2. So you get these men with these mindset, and they're not going there looking for relationship, marriage, most of them. They're going there looking for sex, and they're going there looking for easy sex. So the dating apps are just a way worse version of dating in person. Please avoid them. The fourth thing you need to decenter is shooting your shot. I'm so sorry. Please stop shooting your shot. Please, please. Again, I know your cousin Jessie Ann shoots her shot all the time, and now she's married with her husband. She was the exception, you are not. Especially if you are the kind of woman that is looking for a man to be an alpha, ahead, especially if you're looking for a man to pay all your bills as well, and to lead in life. It is very alpha to shoot your shot. And the thing is, men will always encourage you to shoot your shot because men want guaranteed pumps. That's the truth. If you shoot your shot, it's so much harder for you to kind of drag your feet on sleeping with a man because he's like, hold on, you came to me. So now you want me to chase you, but you brought it to me. I'm confused. The reality is a man who wants you will shoot his shot. He might not do it straight away. He might take him to build up his courage. But if a man sees you and he wants you, he's going to find a way to talk to you. And he's going to find a way to communicate and get your details, or at least ask. Don't let this be confused with the men who just stare until the end of time. Listen, if that man is staring at you, not speaking, there's a reason he's not speaking. And it's usually because he's got a girlfriend. Ladies, please stop it. Stop shooting your shot at these men because you don't even know what they've got going on. And the fifth and final thing you should decenter is not working on your appearance. A lot of women are struggling in dating today, and let me be very real, because of how they look. You're not working on yourself, and nobody wants to talk about this because it's sensitive, but I love you guys, so I'm just going to be real. Work on your physical appearance. Look good, because at the end of the day, social media has created such a pressure in this dating game where you can just look at the most beautiful women at the tip of your fingers, and a lot of men have a lot of unrealistic expectations of how women should look. I'm not telling you to meet those unrealistic expectations. What I'm telling you to do is, if you want to date, try and operate in your peak. So try and get your body how you want your body in terms of fitness. Try and work on your face, your hair, your skin, your femininity. Just try to bring your best self to the dating game. Because dating is very much about looks. Let nobody lie to you. It's like saying, oh, well, you should be able to come as you are. Baby, if you're a lawyer and you're not able to come as you are, you need to go and get all your accreditation. You need to go study. You need to get, past the bar, all that stuff. You can't just show up as you are. Certain tasks require certain requirements. And dating, a key requirement that will really, really help you is how you look. And I'm not saying you need to conform to societal norms and standards of beauty. What you need to do is operate in the way that you feel the best about yourself, where you feel the most beautiful. Because once you feel beautiful about yourself, your confidence will grow. The way you operate will be different. The things you tolerate will be different. So work on becoming the best version of you physically. Yes, emotionally and mentally too, but physically it will help you a lot. Because a lot of women are tolerating trash from men, trash behavior, because they feel ugly. That's the truth. If you are really honest with yourself, a lot of women are tolerating rubbish from men because they can't believe, A, they've got this man, and B, they don't want to lose him because they don't think they can get another man that looks like him, even though he's treating them like chewed up, spit out garbage. So please, decenter not working on your appearance. I promise you that if you decenter these things, your dating experience with men will be so much better. You will have a clearer head when you're dealing with men. You will have more self-love, more self-respect, which means you will have high standards for these men. You will have so much more fun in dating because you will have options. The choice often will be yours. So if you are struggling in dating and you're in a place where you feel like you need to decenter men, please do me a favor and decenter these things in this video, and let's see how it goes. Come back and report. All right, ladies, love you deep. Now, like I always say, there's always an exception to the rule. For best results, assume it's not you.
Hello again. So I'm back with my commentary. First of all, I wanted to say that this video I feel like it's a bit different. I have more of a mixed bag of opinions on this one. And I really enjoyed listening to people's experiences, people's perspective of what decentering men actually means, because obviously some people think decentering men is having nothing to do with men ever, and some people think that decentering men is just more centering yourself. And personally, that's the opinion that I hold as well. I think that decentering men, you can still have men in your life, you can still date, you can still want a relationship, but you just don't focus on the man. You know, you focus more on you. You don't give up your dreams or what you want to do with your life for a man. And I also really like the TikToks that were talking about how when you decenter men, it becomes really difficult to maintain relationships with women who are still male-centered, just because you have nothing in common anymore, you have nothing to talk about. And I also have a video about how male-centered women make bad friends, so I'm going to leave a link for that somewhere in the video so that you guys can check that out as well, because it's really interesting, honestly. And I know that I'm biased saying that, but seriously, like, I never thought about it that deeply until I saw some of these TikToks, and then I was like, oh, that's what it is. So check that out. And also as well, I think her name's Fleeksy, but when she was saying how when you're living a life that you really enjoy, then it's really hard for like a low quality man to impress you, because you're so happy by yourself and with everything that you have, that you just don't center men kind of naturally, because you're having so much fun doing other things. And of course, the last TikTok in this compilation by With Love Bets, I love the way that she broke down all the things that we need to decenter rather than men. Although to me, this is exactly what decentering men actually is. But yeah, either way, I like her take on it. She said, to decenter desperation, decenter hookups, decenter dating apps, decenter shooting your shot, and not working on your appearance. And yeah, I think that all of these are really important things to stop doing or start doing in the case of, you know, looking after your physical appearance. But yeah, like, if you're shooting your shot, if you're on dating apps, if you are kind of, you're doing the chasing. So yeah, like, when you live a life where you're happy, then you wouldn't do that, because you wouldn't have the time, you wouldn't have the energy, you would rather do something else. And yeah, I think that what she said about dating apps is true as well. It made me kind of rethink, because I've been using one for the past few months. Like, I'm not very active these days, but I was on one, and I'm not gonna lie, once I heard her say that, I was like, oh. And to be fair, I haven't really tried that hard dating in my 20s, but now I'm like, yeah, this is not the way. So, and also the lady who knew that she didn't want to get married and have kids from a young age, I think that's so cool. Honestly, I'm kind of envious of her, because wouldn't life be so much simpler and less stressful if you just didn't want these things? You know, I feel like I'm getting to a point now where I'm kind of giving up on the idea of them happening, not because I don't want them, not because I don't want them to still happen, but because there is no guarantee. And I don't want to be one of these people who, if I don't achieve this, then I'm going to be miserable. Like, and I also don't want to be one of these people who do achieve it, and then they think like, oh, this actually isn't what I thought it would be, and it didn't actually make me happy. Because I did see a TikTok once of this woman who said that her whole life goal was to get married and have a baby, and she did. And she was like, yeah, it's not actually as fulfilling as I thought it would be. And I'm not gonna lie, that really changed me. So again, I think that it's important to decenter men and definitely make life goals that you can achieve by yourself, because why would you set a life goal that was dependent on other people? That's actually kind of crazy when you think about it like that. So yeah. So if you've made it this far into the video, thank you for watching. If you like this kind of content, please like my video, maybe leave a comment, definitely subscribe to the channel, because I do plan on making more content like this in the future. And that's everything from me. I will see you next time. Bye.